if you missed our show so far, you've
missed a lot.
Yes,
but you can get it back. Just go to our podcast, which will be out tomorrow. And we're also available on Pandora and iTunes and all the major podcast platforms.
But if you want to see everybody's beautiful faces, but I tell you, we get the best looking people on this show.
Is that a backhanded self-compliment?
No, I'm not counting us. I'm talking about our guests.
Well, you are beautiful. I mean,
so you'll see us on YouTube, and some of the visuals that people gave us get cut into our YouTube presentation too. So go to our YouTube channel, Passage to Profit Show, and you can see the show there. But
sounds great.
Without further ado, yes, I have spoken to this person before, Richard Squires. He has life story, and I was like, you have to come on the radio show. Everybody has to know about this because this is so cool. So without further ado, welcome, Richard.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Richard. I'm very happy to be here. And among these other guests, everything that you guys have been talking about has been totally fascinating. So my company is Life Story. I'm the founder of Life Story. I'm a writer and a storyteller. And at Life Story, I write your memoir for you or for your loved one. I'm showing a picture right now of a recent book that I wrote. And if you want to see the image, check out the YouTube video. But, many people have had the idea that they would love to tell their story and create a legacy that their family will have for always, but they find it difficult putting pen to paper. So that's where I come in. And how it all began for me is a story in itself. I had a light bulb moment because I grew up with a very close-knit family, and my grandfather was always sharing stories. He was in World War II. All my family members shared stories, but there was this one story that my grandfather told that really captured my attention. And that's what gave me the aha moment when I realized that I want to write people's memoirs. I knew that this was my path and that writing people's memoirs would fulfill their dreams and fulfill mine. So the best way to describe Life Story is to walk you through a day in my life. On a day-to-day basis, I typically meet with my clients. During COVID, it's been mostly virtual. The first interview is where I guide my clients with questions to help prompt them to recall times in their life. It's funny because a lot of my clients say that they've dreamed of writing their memoir and they've even started writing their own memoir, but they learn it's a difficult task. So for people who have started their own writing, I weave that into their books. And interviews can also include family members and friends who have stories to tell. Listening to them share their stories, it's like reading a good book or watching a great movie. I cannot wait to see how it continues to reveal itself. It can be emotional for my client. It gets emotional for me. I get a sense of who they are, how I can best portray their voice in their memoir and create a journey for their loved ones to read and cherish. Two, quick funny anecdote, both involving Frank Sinatra, is that I wrote two memoirs of guys who knew Frank Sinatra. One was about a baker, Al, who baked Sinatra's favorite cheesecakes. And another client of mine, his name was Lionel. He was a business mogul who knew many different people, and he was friendly with Frank Sinatra. Both of these guys come from different walks of life, but their experiences were so interesting. It was an honor to write their memoirs. Writing a book is a lengthy process. I transcribe the interviews. I edit all the writing. I incorporate meaningful pictures. I also incorporate other types of services, such as the genealogy report, documents, birth and marriage certificates, ship manifests of when my clients came over from the old country or their families came over. And the research is incorporated into their narrative, and it adds another dimension. And when they and their families see that's been incorporated into their narrative, they're speechless. The cherry on top is the cover photograph. They say you can't judge a book by its cover, but our covers really do represent the essence of my client's memoir. And then the finale is the book reveal. On book reveal day, I present my client's memoir and I video it with my client and maybe their family members receiving the book. And if you go on my website, you can see how emotional the book reveal is. It gives me chills every time. And so if you've been dreaming about writing your own memoir, or if you know someone, whether family, friend, business, a story that really should be captured, reach out to me. I love what I do. I make my clients feel very comfortable and at ease as they walk me through their journey.
Wow. I mean, what human doesn't want their story told, right? Who doesn't want to be heard? I think it's just really such a fantastic thing that you're doing.
And I regret that my family hadn't done this, because I did not know until about 5 years ago that the way that my great something grandfather got the money to buy a bunch of farmland in Oregon was that he struck gold in California. I didn't know that until I was really old. And the stories get lost and so easily. And it really is something that you can pass down to your family that they'll cherish forever. I want Richard to do one, my Richard. To do one.
Just leave out all the bad stuff.
But
Okay?
how long does it take? How many hours do you sit with the person?
So every project is unique and custom, and it really depends on the person's story, how comprehensive they want to be. Some people want to tell the whole story from as far back as they can remember, or even far back, further back than that, such as everything that they know about their ancestry, which again can include the genealogy report, or stories that their grandparents or great grandparents told them about their generations going back, kind of like what you're talking about. But some are thematic. I have one book that I did on a couple who spent 15 years in the Foreign Service, and that's all they wanted to talk about was the Foreign Service. Very interesting. They lived in 5 different locations. I was mentioning my client Al. He was a career baker, and he wanted to talk about his career as a baker. But we were able to weave some other things in there because during his career he met his wife and started a family. So the minimum is usually about 4 hours. 4 hours will get you kind of the minimum, really nice, beautiful book. But it goes up from there. The average, I would say, is 8 hours. 7, 8 hours of interview, but I've done 12 hours, and I have a client I'm doing right now. We do 24 hours. I interviewed him 1 hour every 2 weeks.
I can just see it right now. Our lives on Passage to Profit. What do you think? You have a very interesting story too, by the way. If I get one, you get one. So
Chris, do you have a question for Richard?
Yeah. So Richard, who's the most interesting book that you put together thus far?
I think everyone is interesting. Some stories are more interesting to a wider audience than other people. I would say the most interesting book is this one here. I'm showing a picture for all of you people who are listening on the radio, but this is a Holocaust anthology that I did. So it was 11 people who I interviewed, 11 Holocaust survivors. I partnered with a residence, a living facility up in Bergen County, New Jersey. And that has a lot of Holocaust survivors that came through. And it's just amazing how, all of their stories are incredible and super important. And every single Holocaust survivor story is unique. None of them are the same. Everyone's journey of survival is just kind of a lot of luck.
I can see that being super interesting.
Super interesting. And but a lot of other interesting ones too. I did a filmmaker who directed Ronald Reagan's sort of short political movie. It was like a 15-minute movie called not Good Morning America. Now I can't remember exactly what it's called, but he worked with Ronald Reagan, and the movie became known as the greatest political film made at that time. It was when Ronald Reagan was running for the second time for his reelection.
Very, very interesting. So do you ever get somebody who's maybe shouldn't be telling their story?
Are you thinking of me?
No, I'm thinking of somebody who shall not be named. No. Actually, we hope to have him on the show. So, but anyway. Go.
In my opinion, no. I think everyone's story is interesting. Some people have a story that would not necessarily make a blockbuster film, or best-selling book. It's not something that would interest a wide audience, but it's interesting to their family. And just even a simple story, the idea of falling in love and getting married and having kids, something we can all relate to, but each way that it happens to us is unique. But then you have other stories where, maybe they're filled with, wild times, right? Stories they don't want their family to read, and sometimes people are like, maybe I shouldn't say that. What do you think? Should we share it? And for me as a storyteller, and I, have 2 master's degrees in writing with a concentration in fiction. And I used to work in film, and I'm all about story, and really good stories are full of drama. So the more questionable material in it, the more interesting reading it can make. And so my vote is always to, go with it, go there.
Go with it.
And they say, make a scene.
So in terms of have you ever helped anybody get their story published? I know it goes to the family, but do some people go on and actually publish their work or the work that you do?
Okay, so two things. For the most part, the classic life story that I do, it's meant, as a legacy for the family. So it's self-published and it's print on demand, and you print as many copies as you want, and you can print more later on, give it out to however many people you want. Each book comes with a unique ISBN number, and it can be put on Amazon. And I had one client, I helped her put it on Amazon, and then it's up to her to market it through her own network, through, social media and whatever, and it's sold on Amazon. So any of these books can be put there on Amazon. But that being said, I do have a number of clients I'm working with whose books have commercial potential. And I love the idea that some books can be resources to other folks who, maybe starting a journey that the author who I'm working with has been down that journey and can provide, as a resource, be helpful. But so those kinds of books have commercial potential. I'm also talking with an ex-NFL player. Hopefully I'm gonna do his book for him. So that's always exciting. And for some of these nonfiction books, the what you want to do traditionally in nonfiction publishing is write a proposal. A proposal includes 2 or 3 chapters plus other aspects like a table of contents, synopses of each chapter, plus some market research about the competition, book concept, things like that.
So we have time for one more question before we break. Pavita, do you have any questions or thoughts about Richard's projects?
I was just going to ask if you've ever heard a story that you thought, oh my gosh, they're really going to tell that story?
No, because the most wild things that we've read or seen in film. I mean, there's some wild stuff out there, and it's great viewing. It's great drama. I have a client whose father was in the mafia. He's going to change the names, but
because he doesn't want to get killed, right?
I have a doctor. So one of my clients, Victor, he's a doctor, and during his service, I'll try to tell this very quickly, but his military service was after World War II. He was stationed in Leavenworth. He was the doctor in Leavenworth, and Machine Gun Kelly was his patient. And they became friendly. But anyway, while he was there was a patient in the hospital who was stimulating himself with a light bulb, and it ended up getting sucked into his abdomen. And there's an X-ray in his book. It shows the light bulb in there.
Thank you, Richard. That was just amazing. And if you could publish, we could publish that on our Passage to Profit website.
I have got so many pictures of the cat with Richard that would be just great in his memoir.
They're so embarrassing. They really are.
Oh, speaking of pet memoirs, that's a new idea of mine. A memoir about your pet who's brought you so much happiness.
All right, now it really is time for a commercial break.
Okay.
So thank you very much. You're listening to
Passage
Thank
you.
Profit.
The Inventor Show on WOR 710.
And we'll be back with more stories after this.